And this is, I suppose, the second in a series of interviews. The last one was a year ago with Saygin Yalcin. He's the founder and president of Sukar.com. And we talked to him about his website that had just started up, Sukar.com. It's, on the surface of it, looks what we're now calling group buying and discount websites. There seem to be a number of them being launched at the moment. But when we talked to Saygin this time last year, it was a fairly uncrowded market space. So we're now going to find out how that's changed. Good morning to you, Saygin. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, Malcolm. Thanks for having me again.
It was a year ago, I think, that we talked to you, and I know that you're very tired because you only left your office this morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. You've had a couple of hours sleep and you've come to talk to us. So we do appreciate your dedication.
Thanks.
Now, you launched just over a year ago, and I think perhaps even before we catch up on the last year, let's just explain what you're all about, basically. You actually say that it's not a group buying website and that it's a shopping club. Define the difference.
Well, actually, the group buying model we know from the States, which is called the Groupon model or the Kabone.com model here in the Middle East, is actually one offer per day and focusing on activities, while we are a private shopping club, close and focusing on lifestyle products, fashion and accessories.
Certainly looking at your website, there's an awful lot of discounts. I mean, as high as sort of 80-90% discounts on high-end products. So you launched just over a year ago. How has the first year gone?
It has been a very successful year. I mean, when we last met, we were around probably 15-20 people. Now we're approaching 100 employees and have become a multi-million-dollar business on a monthly basis, pushing around 200 campaigns a month, working with over 600 brands, so in 9 countries. So I think this has been a great year so far.
Did you say a multi-million-dollar business every month?
That is correct.
What are your revenues? I know you're...
It is actually, like I said, we don't go into these details because we don't disclose this financial information, but yes, it has been a tremendous business year for us, a growth exceeding our business plans. At the same time, we have, of course, I mean, this comes with growth pains. This comes with, I mean, an increase of 50% month on month is crazy.
Well, what I read into that is multi-million-dollar business each month means at least 2 million every month, which is 24 million a year. So, are you quite a bit above $24 million?
No, that is not. I mean, of course, you need to take into consideration that we have grown into this number. So, if you look at the run rate, if you look at the run rate, you're probably right. At the same time, this will grow further, and we're looking into a very prosperous 2011. That's
a pretty impressive turnover for a company that's been going just a year and from scratch as well, and growing from 15 to 100 employees. Let's talk about your business model in a slightly wider sense now. Whereabouts does all this stock come from that you actually advertise?
Well, we started out in Dubai or locally, but we further and further realized that the best prices and the best products actually come from the sources themselves. So we have established operations in the United States and in Europe as well. I just came back from a business trip from Milan and Paris, and even from Turkey. So we are actually working globally so far to source the best products for you.
Well, that's very true. But I mean, I can't go out and myself and source products from principals from luxury manufacturers who have agents and distributors legally in this part of the world and actually sell their products onto the turf where they already have a distributor. So how do you do it?
Well, there is, if you go into these legal aspects, we are completely legal in terms of doing this. How we go about this, we have partners all over the world, that is correct. We're working with authorized distributors, as you know. We're working with wholesalers. We're working with the brands directly.
Well, you're working with the local distributors and the local agents?
Partly. It's not exclusively, partly, yes. But it's not necessary to work with the distributors locally, as long as...
Why not? And this is what I'm struggling to understand. Why not, when the law is fairly clear that you have to have a local distributor?
We are the local distributor.
So, in some of the luxury brands, for instance, off the top of my head, Altair, a big luxury provider here, some of the brands that they sell are actually on your website. So how do you get around that, and why aren't they knocking on your door trying to close you down?
Well, in terms of exclusivity rights, we're completely respecting that. So you're right. There is some categories within certain brands which are exclusive to certain, I would say, even conglomerates so far. So we're totally respecting that. But these are really a few brands, and if we would offer these categories within these brands, we would go with them. That is correct.
You have to go through that. So, okay, now, even buying discount from the principals and manufacturers, how are you able to offer such big discounts?
Well, first of all, by going to the best sources you can get. I mean, by avoiding middlemen. At the same time, we are focusing on stock, which is either overproduction, overstock, or you could say past season. But mostly now we are even offered current stock, which comes with the relationship management we are.
So you started initially on the taking excess stock from manufacturers and previous seasons that they don't think will sell.
That is correct. At the same time, it's the same quality. It's just if they have produced too much, basically we could take that.
What about the normal consumer protection side of the business, the normal guarantees and warranties that I would get if I went into a shop?
Well, it's quite similar. I mean, if you buy something which doesn't fit, you can just return it, and we will return.
You have an open
we
return
have a
policy.
return. We have a return policy. That is correct. At the same time, we're offering any kind of service which you would expect from an offline store. I mean, we have live service in terms of live chats. We have email supports. We have a full-fledged call center. Actually, 11 people already working full time just to make sure that the answers are there. And at the same time, we have our own logistics operations. We have our production studios, meaning we have our own model shoots. We have...
So your own model shoes. Why would you bother doing that when you've got a very clear business model about buying cheaply from other people?
Well, at the same time, we need to look at the reality. If you get stock from suppliers, they don't always come with professional photos. So we take... samples and shoot them on our own.
I see. You don't actually make or brand your own shoes. Okay, right. I understand.
Yeah.
Your website says Sukar.com was launched in April 2010, as we know. It's the most successful e-commerce startup in the Middle East, you say. It's approaching 500,000 members. How many of those members have actually bought something?
Well, that is difficult to say. Usually, if you look at shopping clubs' so-called conversion rates, it differs between 5 to 25%. It depends on the time frame you're looking at. So within a year, we are close to this average already.
But you must know how many unique customers you have.
That is, we are, I would say, in the tens of thousands already.
Tens of thousands.
But very interestingly, I just seen the statistic, 95% of our buyers have become repeat buyers.
That's quite an important statistic, isn't it? So 95% are repeat buyers.
Exactly. That shows that people who have actually purchased from Sukar.com are happy with the service and would buy again.
Who's your target audience? What sort of people are you looking at?
This kind of I would keep it as broad as possible.
You can be as specific as possible. I don't care. The listeners don't care.
I don't want to be too specific.
Why is that?
Because at the end of the day, I would serve the mass market. So at the same time, I know which target group is more interested. I mean, we could say it is the 20 to 39-year-old person. At the same time, we see a 65% overweight. I mean, in terms of a majority for
young
women.
people who are obviously trying to save cash. Yeah.
Yes, or
they want
who
designer products, but they want to save cash.
That is not correct. I would say they value lifestyle products and would purchase more and impulsively from our website. And
I guess that's true, but I mean the thing that drives them to the website rather than going to a shop is probably the price. I mean, you're all about price, aren't you? It's discount.
We have privileged prices for our members. That's how that's
the way you want to phrase it. Okay. I mean, one of the big deals about shopping in Dubai is that it's a mall experience. We like the tactile nature of browsing, if you like. I mean, shopping's a national sport in the Emirates. How far can you go in a market that's given over to physical shopping?
Well, first of all, we do not cannibalize any of the offline sales of the brands. We're actually creating demand. People who come to our website have not looked for a certain brand, they rather have looked for a certain deal, or they would say anything which Sukar offers should be a great deal. So there is no cannibalization in the first place. The second place, if you look at the advantages of having online shopping is, of course, first of all, the convenience you have. You're shopping from home. You have the overview. You have the transparency in terms of information. You can compare with different websites immediately. You have, of course, the price advantage. And, yes.
In the UAE, how do you actually deliver the product? And how long does it take from an order?
Once the product actually arrives in our warehouse, it does not take more than 24 hours to leave our warehouse, and within the UAE, it should not take.
You courier, do you?
Day. Yes.
How much are the delivery charges?
Free.
Free delivery. Yeah. Now, we had a few text people coming in saying, look, they struggle to believe that the manufacturers of products will sell cheaply to you rather than going through their own agent in the country. Just explain again. I mean, obviously you're not going to come on to national radio and start claiming things which are not true.
That is
so.
Correct.
Just again underline this business of where in the law you can sell against the agent for a product.
We are actually not against the agent. We're working with the agents, and we prefer actually working locally. But if it comes to the pricing issue, I mean, first of all, we have different margins. At the same time, we are working with, as I said, stock, which is more difficult to sell sometimes, but at the same time,
because it's excess and because it's last year's stock.
Exactly. So if you look at you look at the distributors here, they're probably focusing on current stock more oftenly. At the same time, the more you work with the supplier, of course, you will be offered current stock over time. So it's relationship management. I call it it's a people's business. So the more you work with them, the more volume you push within a certain kind of a certain time frame, you will enjoy privileges. So we can say that we probably sell more of this brand within these 2 days we offer it within a campaign than probably a distributor.
I mean, obviously, online sales are growing. I mean, legitimate sort of straightforward online sales through Amazon. People are using a lot more to buy electricals, books, etc., etc.
Right.
We've seen an awful lot more of the group buying websites coming up. I mean, we had another one launched this week, Yellow Banana, actually launching on June the 1st in a few days' time. We had them in the studio earlier. Mm-hmm. This competition, is it hitting you at all? Have you noticed a slowdown?
That is definitely not competition. It's a totally different business model. Usually, as I said, the group buying business focuses on coupons, people actually going to local businesses and redeeming these coupons, and focusing on activities rather than the products we are offering. At the same time, the group buying model has much less market entry barriers than a shopping club has. I mean, we are establishing supplier relationships over time. As I said, we have worked with over 600 brands offering 200 campaigns a month. To get to this stage, it takes much more than actually opening up a group buying model.
We look forward to talking to you next year to find out how you're getting on.
Looking forward to that.
Saygin Yalcin, founder and president, Sukar.com. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.